What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Broad Street Banter. I am Matthew, joined here with Will, as always. We're going to get into the Phillies, who have just acquired Austin Hayes from the Orioles for Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache. Instant reaction. Go ahead.
Phillies got fleeced. I mean, Austin Hayes isn't a bad baseball player, nor is he a bad platoon option. I prefer a Brent Roker kind of guy. Yeah, maybe. That probably would have been a little bit better, maybe a little bit more appealing. I think that would have brought an upgrade to the Phillies offense, right? I don't know if Austin Hayes really is that upgrade that – I get it. The Phillies are the best team in baseball. They have been awful at the start of the second half, and yet they are still the best team in baseball with the best record. I believe that's still correct, right?
Yep.
Yankees are – no one else is taking over them. Orioles are – yeah, so exactly. But what do the best teams do in order to win championships? They go out and they get the best players. Obviously, this team doesn't need these high-end prospects right now. I don't think they're going to need a lot of them in the foreseeable future either, especially given how much long-term money the Phillies have handed out right now. That's another thing that people always tend to forget is how long some of these contracts are. So my initial reaction was, really, is this the guy that the Phillies are going to go in and call their big fish at the deadline? And also, I really did not like giving up Christian Pache. I know you had to because there was no room. Someone would have to get sent back down, and that's either another option on Rojas's contract or you lose Pache if you send him down because he hasn't had any more options left. Obviously, you can't really send Marsh down. That would probably cause the city of Philadelphia to burn to the ground. And you have Castellanos, who also, if that man is benched or whatever, the city will burn to the ground because not only is he a likable guy, but also that contract is not something that anybody can eat. So yeah. I understand that there wasn't any options, and that's probably what they had to do to make that trade work. Dominguez, he's not been himself this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's talk about it. He has this year 4.75 ERA. 1.22 whip. Obviously, he's allowed 6 home runs in 36 innings. Walked 12 guys. Listen,
he's like the same Sir Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, the strikeouts are there like they always are, but it's one of those things where inconsistency has plagued him, and if you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to get you're not going to last on a contender.
No, exactly. And I also don't think, at least in my vision for the Phillies this year, I didn't see him as a high leverage guy going forward. He could be a guy that you throw in late game situations when you're either getting blown out or when you're blowing someone out. But I still think the old Sir Anthony is somewhere in there. I don't think trading him was.
But how many? You know what I mean? It's like how many more chances are going to get? I mean, I think of the postseason with Sir Anthony. I get PTSD against the Padres. This guy just chucking the ball in the dirt. Like,
it had to happen, and you never know. Austin Hayes might be the guy, but I think if that's the package that the Phillies landed on, I also think they could have done better than Austin Hayes as well.
Yeah. So like, I'll say when I saw the trade, I was actually opposite of you. I was quite happy. Hayes, listen, last year Hayes was an all-star. He batted .275, 769 OPS. Not the best. Like the OPS went down after the all-star break. But this year he is batting .255 with the 711 OPS, 395 slugging. Those are league average when you look at it. A lot of those numbers are at least slightly above it. But if you look at his splits here, specifically against left-handed pitching, so they're likely to platoon Marsh and Hayes, he's batting .328 with an .894 OPS against lefties. I mean, slugging .500. He has had 72 plate appearances against them. His home runs are down this year by a lot. I mean, he's a guy that can hit you or give you 15 or so. He only has 3, so he's probably barely going to scratch 10.
No.
Probably will we get to like 7 or 8, but obviously that depends on playing time, but he's also not a bad defender. Like, it's one of those
He's
where
not a good defender.
He's not a good defender, but he's not a bad one. He's okay. Like, he's serviceable. You could put him
He's
out.
Nick Castellanos. He's another Cassie.
Yeah, more range though.
Yeah, but I mean, the one thing too, you look at his numbers this year, they're definitely down. But the one thing that scares me is his splits in the last 30, 15, and 7. I just want to look at batting average alone. In his last 30 games, he's hitting 311. His last 15, he's hitting 297. But his last 7, he's hitting 214. So the struggles have been there recently.
Never mind.
A change of scenery could have been good for him too. Like, it could benefit him well. But I don't know. I think that there are better fish out there. I know we talked about this before we hit the record button. I'm still a little hurt that Randy isn't wearing red pinstripes right now. I thought Randy Rosarena was going to be the guy that I thought he was going to be the big fish, especially seeing the package that Seattle sent for him. I kind of thought, all right, it's kind of sad that the Phillies couldn't match that. Obviously, people aren't going to go out and say, oh, well, this is what we're being offered, final offer. Do you want to match it? Or like, that's not going to be the case. If a team gets the offer that they want and they're pretty confident that they're not going to get much better, they're going to take it to secure that, because in any given day, anything can fall apart. Like, let's say Mason Miller was about to get traded for multiple top prospects, but then he hurts his pinky punching the table. All of a sudden,
they said it was a workout now.
It's a workout now.
Yeah, I heard different things. I heard different. It could be a cover up because he didn't want to admit that he punched the table.
His agent's a very good dude if he got hurt during a workout. But regardless, that value that goes down, right? You're no longer going to get 3 of someone's top 5 prospects. You might get 2 of someone's top 5 prospects, which at the end of the day changes the trade immensely. So any minute a trade can change, and that's the big thing with the deadline these days is you got to take the deal that you're comfortable with, or else everything could fall apart. Now, it's baseball. It's not football. It's not a high contact sport, but injuries still happen and you never know. But I'm still not fully sold on Austin Hayes. I think there are better options, but hey.
Listen, I was going to say, so you're not satisfied. So let's piggyback into the deadline is still a few days away. And I was going to say, listen, if Austin Hayes is your platoon plan, you got to still swing big somewhere, right? So
absolutely.
The question is, where are we going to swing big?
So I think the bullpen, trading Sir Anthony almost put the nail in the coffin that the bullpen is going to be the biggest target of this trade deadline. You can't give up a guy that
Tanner Scott will be a Philly.
Tanner Scott would be a Philly. That changes my whole outlook on Austin Hayes. I will become very happy. And that would also, in my opinion, now, before Tanner Scott's a lefty, right? I'm like 99% positive. Yeah, okay. That's what I was going to say. That would give the Phillies the best left-handed relieving core in the league by far. I think they might already have it. I know Alvarado and Strahm have both had their struggles in the second half, but I still think both guys are 2 of the premier left-handed relievers in the league right now. Adding Tanner Scott makes that so much better. I know AJ Puck just got traded to Arizona. That was a guy I was kind of looking into a little bit myself. I don't know what really a trade for him would cost because, again, he's one of those guys.
It didn't cost a lot.
Injuries derailed him, and he hasn't been what he was ever expected to be out in Oakland. But that's all right. He's not, again, injuries. So I thought maybe he'd be an intriguing option, cheaper than Tanner Scott for sure. But if Tanner Scott is a Philly, that'd be awesome. We need a
legitimate guy that comes in and closes. Because think about it. You get a Tanner Scott. Now you have
that legitimate closer.
Obviously. But then you have guys like Matt Strahm and Jeff Hoffman just being setup guys.
Yeah.
And it's like
the other thing too.
And then you get like Kirkering and Alvarado to kind of not be setup guys, and they're just kind of like middle inning, like
the one thing I think too is key with this bullpen is just going out and getting one more arm. Because I think if they can get one more arm to kind of bump one of those guys out of the setup position, I think just naming someone the closer too would make a world of a difference in this,
100%.
like the mental game of it all. I think that'd be huge. But I mean, while we're talking about arms and mental game, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you saw the Phillies go out and trade for a high-end 4 or high-end 3 starter and moved one of the guys in the current rotation to the bullpen. Now, I can't see Christopher Sanchez getting moved to the bullpen right now. He would be the first guy I'd move, but this season he's been...
You can't move him. You literally can't.
No, you can't. And we all remember what happened when
this guy is.
When they tried to move Taijuan Walker to the bullpen.
As I said, like when Taijuan comes back, you're paying him too much money. He has to start.
I just don't know what to do. I've always been a guy
Turnbull is going to end up being the long reliever when Turnbull still should have been in the rotation.
Huh? Oh my God, I forgot Turnbull was even on the roster.
Yeah, you know, we still have Turnbull, who probably would have been an all-star if he kept playing.
Jeez. Oh, and look, I might not be the most popular opinion, but I'm still not opposed to either Nola in the bullpen or a 6-man rotation, and letting Nola be that kind of piggyback game, because he is one of the best pitchers in the league for the first 4 innings of the game. And after the Toyota Wrap fourth inning,
start fucking getting hit.
once everyone's seen him more than once, that's when he starts getting shelled. So what if you could put him in situations where he's pitching 3-4 innings and then...
You know, I would normally agree with that, but I feel like in the postseason he's proven that he can...
No, absolutely. In the postseason, that's completely different. I'm still...
Oh, I know this is right now?
Yeah, why not? Look, I look at...
Yeah, you save his arm, right?
I look at Aaron Nola,
you're paying him too much money.
You paid him that contract for October. There's not a doubt in my mind that they paid Aaron Nola that much money for the sole purpose of October, because they've seen it the last 2 years. He's been nothing but... Now, granted, he is still my favorite player in the major leagues. I grew up loving him. Obviously, like, no hate or disrespect towards the guy, but he's really been nothing but mediocre. He was the longtime ace during the rough times of being a Phillies fan. Then he kind of got bumped by Wheeler. Obviously, Wheeler earned that. He probably earned that a little bit earlier than he was given it, but Wheeler's now the ace. You have Nola. He is, again, great for the first 4. But
do you want a hot take?
I'll take a hot take.
It's not even a hot take. You said move Nola to the bullpen. I'm going to be honest. If Ranger keeps pitching like this, Ranger could end up back in the bullpen.
Yeah, no. That's the thing with the Phillies rotation right now, is you want to add to it because you know there are better options. Like Garrett Crochet, could you imagine him in...
Dude. The only thing is that he's on the innings limit, and he's gonna have to go to the bullpen.
But you look at
but if
what
you think
is available.
In the future, yes, he will be a starter.
Oh, absolutely. But like again, you're looking at all of this, and you're thinking, if this is available, we have to go for it. What do? You have to move one of these guys to the bullpen and make them a long reliever. I think Ranger could benefit from some time out of the rotation too. I think his struggles are coming from he's not used to going this deep, this many games, because
he's getting gassed out.
He's a bullpen guy. There's not a doubt in my mind he's a bullpen guy. I'm very glad he didn't pitch in the All-Star game. I'm glad he had his little time. And granted, it would have been nice to see him there, but getting replaced, and I think that gave him a lot of time to rest and get ready. I know he didn't have a great first start back after the break, but there's still some time to kind of let him decompress, because being a guy who is used to throwing 1-2 innings and then 3-4 innings, and all of a sudden he throws lights out one postseason, and then he becomes a starter. Next thing you know, he's going 6 innings last year, and now he's pitching into the 9th sometimes this season. I don't think his arm can handle it. I think he's hitting his cap way early than expected. I think
if he's hitting his cap, could they experiment with kind of a rotation of him and Turnbull rotating starts?
He did. That's what they did with Sanchez, right? Or no, that's what they did with. It was Walker or Sanchez that had that piggyback with?
Was it? It might have been Walker.
It might have been Walker, because Walker came back from injury. They did that a little bit there. I wouldn't hate seeing that happen with.
It's like you give both of them. Well, it's funny, right? You give Ranger 4 innings, and then Turnbull gets 4, and then closer done.
Yeah, done deal. And that's what I'm thinking with Nola. But then again, at the same time, that's all a pipe dream, and obviously that's never going to happen. You have too much money tied up into this rotation, and you can't move guys like that to the bullpen. Not to mention, you also don't have that many players. That's my issue with this trade deadline, and I kind of just brought it up in itself. there are so many guys on this roster that I can't see not on the roster, and I can't see not making an impact come postseason. But yet, you want to improve. How do you go about that?
So I remember, I believe you wrote an article. I think it was you, and I completely agreed with it. And it's a lot of Phillies fans struggle with this. Okay, I get that. Like, other than Andrew Painter, I think everybody else is not untouchable. Win a World Series. They're like, but what about the future? What about the future? Worry about now.
The future is people build for the future so they can compete for World Series titles in the future, right? You're building that prospect pool.
This is what we built for.
I can't remember the last time I'm sitting with anyone this late into the month of July with the Phillies being the best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember the last time that was a thing. We were blessed as young Phillies fans getting to see a World Series championship in 2008. I know there's fan bases that have been waiting way longer for a World Series, but for the city of Philadelphia, it has been a long time since the beloved Phillies have won a World Series. This is by far the best team, the best clubhouse, everything around this team. This is the best that the Phillies have been in so long. I cannot fathom how some Phillies fans want to say, oh, well, we should probably keep Mick Gable because you never know. He might come up next year. It's like, yeah.
Sure, I will personally drop him off at the airport. Like,
I know you said Andrew Painter's untouchable.
I don't mean that as like an asshole way, but like
Luis Robert. If the Chicago White Sox say, yeah, you can have Luis Robert, but we want Andrew Painter, who in their right mind says, oh, but Andrew Painter could be good next year. Luis Robert's going to be good now. Like, put him out in center field.
I will say I did say Andrew Painter still. I think he is ace potential. Like,
oh, he undoubtedly has ace potential.
Like, that's why. But like anyone else though. But like that's the thing is like realistically, you can get a Robert trade done with Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, and those guys.
Yeah, no,
it's not going to cost Andrew Painter along with those people. Like you're keeping.
If that's who they want, I'll take a quote from you. If they want Andrew Painter, I will pick Andrew Painter and drive him to the South Side myself. No prospect is untouchable. It's done. This is the year. This has to be the year, and that's why we're getting way off topic here. That's why Austin Hayes kind of disappointed me. No disrespect to the guy. He's a good baseball player. He's only 29 years old. He has the potential to be with this team for an extended period of time.
So that's that's next year too. But
he's a good baseball player. Like you said, all-star last year. Not a bad guy, but this is the year. And you're telling me the big move that the Phillies are making is, oh, let's get a platoon guy for Brandon Marsh.
Well, we don't know if that's not the big move, hopefully. But
given from the sounds of it, they're going to go out. And I do think their big move is going to come in the bullpen. And I'm not going to be mad about it. But I think they're done. It sounded like Austin Hayes was – I heard I'm going to have to go deep into the memory book here. And
are you saying that he's the last bat?
Yeah, I don't think we're getting another bat.
Yeah. I mean, but, you're banking on Castellanos turning it around. You know.
Hey, look, point blank, I don't remember who said it. Someone said that there was a chance that Austin Hayes would become the everyday left fielder and Marsh and Rojas were going to platoon in center. Or you have Rojas playing every day and Marsh and Hayes platooning in left. But regardless, Austin Hayes will be a left fielder. I don't know who his platoon partner is going to be. And that could also bounce around too. Marsh could kind of just jump in where there's a struggling player if someone's struggling. It all makes sense. It's a possibility. But why not just go get that flashy player? If you're planning on giving someone a starting position and moving Marsh to Rojas, why not go get Luis Robert? Why not? I know he's struggling, and that contract might not be great if he opts into it, but why not go get a Cody Bellinger? Why not go get one of those premier bats that could be the difference between sadness and a party on Broad Street?
No, I agree, and I can't help but to laugh when people say, "But the future," because like when we drafted Alec Boehm, what was that for then? because that was
But
for the future, and guess what? That future is now. Like, people want to live in this world where they want the Phillies to be competitive for their entire lifetime. That's not how sports work. You're going to have a team that's going to be dog shit.
No, and I can understand the argument too that this team is so good right now. Why do you need to add anybody? Why not save these guys for when, like next year or something?
And
extend the window. I get that. But at the same time, when are you going to have a team that's like this current Phillies team ever again?
It's not like Robert is 39 or 39, like 29 or something. Like the guy's young still. He could be part of the next window.
And he's got like what, 3 more years of team control?
Yeah, and like
he's that center fielder for a long time.
Dude, he slugs, bro. That's all that matters.
He slugs. He's fast. He's got one of the best gloves and best arms in the league. He is one of.
He would on the Phillies. Yeah,
if he wasn't playing for the Chicago White Sox, he'd try.
I'm saying like right now, I would, dude. I'd give up.
Look, he is one of the rare true 5-tool stars in this league. And if you had the ability to bring a Luis Robert to the Phillies, again, I know we're supposed to be talking about Austin Hayes.
Yeah.
This is why it gets me so much, is because we went and looked for a guy that could end up having a everyday starting position. But if you were going to do that, why not go get the player that's going to make the biggest impact when you know he's available? Why settle for Austin Hayes?
Yeah. So obviously we hope Austin Hayes helps the team, but we should probably talk about the fact that the Phillies have lost 6 of their last 9 games against the Athletics, Pirates, and Twins. Listen, Twins won, whatever. You had the last game of the series get away from you. The Pirates, that was fucking embarrassing. And the Athletics.
Look, man, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's no sugarcoating. I get that it's the last series before the All-Star break, but you have one of the worst teams with one of the worst and least supportive owners. No fan is coming from. There are going to be more old Philadelphia Athletic fans in that stand supporting the Athletics than actual Athletics fans. And that team is ancient, right? You have them come to you and they spank you on your home field.
So I think it was they outscored us in that series. Oh my God. I think it's 29-16.
Now, granted, that's one game that really.
Yeah, but like they beat us the first game 6-2, and then we put up 11 on them, and then the next day they took that fucking personal and put up 18, with 2 guys having 3 home run games. No. Sorry, it was
two guys having 2 home run games.
2 guys had 2 home run games, and then Lawrence Butler had 3. Lawrence Butler.
And then he has a pretty good card in the show. But no, I mean, for real though,
the world isn't falling apart though. People need to calm down.
No,
they still the best record in baseball. Like
they're still 9.5 up on the Atlanta Braves for the NL East crown. That's a pretty large cushion. But with that same time, you lose that. You would think they would have had a fire lit under them. They came out great the first game of the second half and then ended up dropping that one to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh then got the next one, and then you blank them in the series finale. 6-0 happens. Twins beat down. Next day, you blank them. Third game for the series.
We beat them, but it came down to the Johan Duran.
But
one of the premier closers, and they were able to get it figured out. And when I saw that, it was obviously you want to talk about it was nice to see them get to a elite closer.
Yeah, no, I mean that has happened.
I haven't seen that since Alec Bowman, Matt Vierling took Josh Hader deep.
I miss Matt Vierling. No, but look, the bullpen collapsed in the series finale, and the Phillies lost the series. That's 3 straight series losses, one to a team that's barely over 500, one to one of the better teams in the league in the Twins, and then the absolute dumpster fire that the Oakland Athletics are.
Well, they play competitive this year. Let's not completely.
All right. But look, I think the important thing here is not getting caught up in the past, because I know we kind of mentioned this too. It's not an easy road ahead for the Phils. I don't know how long this stretch is, but up until August 8th, they have the Guardians, they have the Yankees, they have the Mariners, they have the Dodgers, and then that August 8th game is the D-backs. And that's not even a pushover, because I'm sure they're going to be hungry to embarrass the hell out of the Phillies after.
And the Mariners, we could have sat there and said, well, the Mariners, we don't know when Julio's coming back. I don't know if he's back. I haven't looked at that. But they just got Randy.
They're getting
They just got Yimi Garcia. They're making moves.
I still think they're getting Vladdy. I would not be surprised.
Not going anywhere. Vladdy's not going anywhere.
Say that now. But no, even that.
He's going to get a long-term contract.
You have the Marlins and the Nats right after that D-back series.
And the Marlins have our number.
Oh,
I don't know if they have our number anymore, but they always are going to play us close, and they're going to steal games.
You look at this second half, and yeah, they might get some breaks with some crappy teams.
You get kind of a break with the Marlins. The Nationals are a bit competitive. Then you have the Braves, and then you go to the Royals, and then the Astros, and then back to the Braves.
The way I see it, the last series that I could have said confidently, this is going to be a sweep, was that Oakland series before the All-Star break, and they ended up dropping that. There is no more easy road. Yes, they're up 9.5 games.
We're going to see what the Phillies are made of. That's what it comes down to.
And it's a shame that this kind of stretch is happening now, because it's all happening after the trade deadline, because that could have been the deciding factor on whether or not you go and you send the house for a Luis Robert, or just stay put and try to fall back and get a.
Yeah, so obviously we're probably about to wrap up here in a second, but I gotta know if the Phillies they drop another series to the Guardians. You think Dave at all will be like, fuck it, let's ball and get Robert?
I don't know if that's going to make him say, fuck it, let's ball and go and get Lubob, or if that's going to make him say, maybe we should hold on to our pieces now. And that's the question. I think you got to see where that fault lies. I think the Twin series, the bats were kind of silent.
The bats have just been silent, man.
But the bullpen cost you the series, right?
Yeah.
So you think there, bullpen. But you look at the Pirates series, you look at the Athletic series, the Phillies put up 7 runs and a loss. That's on the pitching. But then they put up 1 run. I don't know.
It's one of those where it is coming down to the fact that it's like you said, it's the bullpen. It's very clear. Listen, even if the bats don't get going, listen, you lose games like that. But if you're going to put up, especially with our rotation, I'm going to be honest with you, 4 or 5 runs should be more than enough. Should not have to be hard.
No.
And you should be able to win games 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. You know what I mean? So, like I said, my dream move, Tanner Scott. 100%. Name him the closer. Done.
I'm still pulling for Luis Robert, but why not both?
Yeah, why not both? But we will talk to you guys after the trade deadline. Hopefully Lou Bob is in a Phillies jersey. Hopefully Tanner Scott's in a Phillies jersey. Hopefully everybody's in a Phillies jersey.
Mike Trout. Don't forget, Trout's coming back.
Ooh, wait a minute. Maybe Anthony Rendon? No.
Complete the Philadelphia Nationals.
The Philadelphia Nationals. All right, we are going to wrap it up here. Remember to leave a like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media. Link is in the description. We will see you in the next one. Peace.